Alright, so this is going to be just a quick little video to put some information out there. If you're an anti-gunner and you happen to stumble across this, maybe this will actually give you a few facts when it comes to the Second Amendment, when it comes to some of the conversations you're inevitably having with people, maybe in your own life, maybe you got friends, maybe you got family members that are pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment, and you just don't understand why. And if you're pro-gun, if you're pro-Second Amendment like I am, maybe this will give you yet another talking point, another bullet in the chamber, as it were, to defend your beliefs about the Second Amendment, about what it is, about why gun ownership in the United States is important. So this kind of all stems from that one question that is just being thrown around so often right now. If you're pro-gun, you've probably had several people, friends, family, whatever, ask you this, and that is, of course, why does anybody need a weapon of war like an AR-15? You don't use it for hunting. It's no good for anything else other than just the slaughter of human beings. And of course, what usually ends up happening is, as a pro-gun person, as a pro-Second Amendment person, you kind of take a step back, get on the defense and go, whoa, 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 no, plenty of people use AR-15 for hunting. It's the most popular hunting rifle in the United States, and I use mine all the time for hunting. And look, I have a lot of friends that use their AR-15s for hunting everything, okay? Just whatever it is, depending on the caliber, elk, deer, hog, coyotes, whatever, right? It is the most popular rifle in the United States, and a lot of what people do with those rifles is hunting. And also, there's three-gun competitions. There's just having fun at the range. People use these rifles for a lot of things. More people use these rifles for those things than anything else. But here's the problem with that line of thought is, again, you are starting on the defense. Why do we do that as gun owners? Why do we continue to do that over and over and over again? Why do we placate to somebody who's anti-gun when we know our argument is based on facts, statistical data, whatever it may be, whatever conversation you're having, whether you're talking about what the Second Amendment means, whether you're talking about gun crime in America, whether you're talking about the murder rate, we have facts on our side. Why do we get defensive? Because I'm going to tell you what, the AR-15 was in fact designed to assist people to kill. It's a tool. It doesn't kill by itself, but it certainly was put in place. It certainly was designed to make it easier for one human being to kill another human being. Why back away from that? Why shy away from that fact? That's what it is. Don't get on the defense. Go on the offense. And here's what you do. People talk about weapons of war in the hands of everybody. Nobody needs that. You can go hunting with this. You can defend yourself with this revolver. You don't need an AR-15. Well, guess what, Buttercup? The AR-15, okay, that's exactly what we need, because the Second Amendment isn't there for hunting. It isn't there for three-gun challenges. It isn't there because you want to go to a competition or go to the range or whatever it may be. It's there so that if ever need be, we can take care of whatever tyranny might befall us, right? Whether that's a corrupt government, another government, or just a criminal up the street who wants to do you harm. That is what the Second Amendment is about. That's what it's always been about. And to prove this, I want to take you back to the United States versus Miller. Now, this was a case back in the 1930s after the National Firearms Act was put into place. He wanted a sawed-off shotgun. Now, eventually they ruled that he didn't have the right to have a sawed-off shotgun without going through the proper paperwork of, NFA and all the different forms and paying the tax stamp and everything else. But do you know why they said he couldn't have a sawed-off shotgun? They said very clearly, the Supreme Court of the United States said very clearly, well, it's because a sawed-off shotgun isn't a weapon of war. And the Second Amendment covers weapons of war. Whatever the military has, that's what you're allowed to have. And the military wasn't using sawed-off shotguns. They were using rifles, they were using handguns, they were using standard shotguns, but they didn't use a sawed-off shotgun. Therefore, he didn't have a right to just own one. He didn't have a right to just cut a barrel off of a shotgun without paying a tax stamp and going through the proper paperwork. Specifically because it wasn't a weapon of war, and that's what the Second Amendment covers. You see, the whole point of the Second Amendment is so that we are just as powerful as our government. Or at least we are so powerful that our government wouldn't want to go through the trouble of trying to enslave us or become too tyrannical, because we could always stand up and put up a pretty damn good fight. Look, there are over 300 million guns in this country, all right? There are roughly around 90 million gun owners. That's a third of the country almost. Do you think the federal government wants to tempt fate by messing with that? No. So just the very fact that we own these things helps keep things in check. It's when you take those things away that things start to go a little wonky. And yes, with that sometimes comes danger. With that sometimes comes some psycho or some criminal who does something horrible. But the foundation of our country, the basis with which we keep our government at bay constantly and have for over 200 years, that's worth more. It is. And I know it's a harsh thing to say to somebody, especially if you may have lost somebody that you care about to violence. I understand that. I've lost somebody to violence, to a gun in fact. And I don't talk about it a lot, but it doesn't take away from the fact that by and large, guns in this country, the Second Amendment, what our founders did at the very beginning of forming this country and this government, it has saved more people's lives, millions and millions of more people's lives than otherwise would have been saved. Not only are we able to protect ourselves every single day from tyranny, but we've been able to protect others with weapons of war like AR-15's. We stopped the British. We won a civil war with firearms against an enemy within our own ranks that wanted some pretty bad things to happen to other individuals. We won against the Nazis. Okay? We fight terrorism every day with these weapons of war. And yes, once again, we keep our government at bay from becoming tyrannical simply because of the fact that we can own these things. Taking them away will not solve the problems. Taking guns away will make our country worse.